Okay, hello, welcome back again. In this video, I just want to kind of go through some of the homework to show you guys exactly what to expect as you're doing the homework. So I just opened up the very first question in 2.3, which is the very first chapter, very first section. I've actually already answered it, so I'm actually going to show you guys as you work through the homework, you have an unlimited number of attempts for every single one of these problems. You can get it wrong and then just hit similar question down here and do it again. Even if you get it correct and you want some extra practice, you can still hit similar question and it'll give you another question. So it'll change the question, it'll give you some different numbers and stuff, and you can rework the question. But notice I already got it correct, so it's saving my correct answer. So it's not like if you get it right and do it again, you have to do it again. You can save your best score. But the nice thing about the homework is, again, the MyMathLab stuff is going to be a major part of your grade overall, but you have an unlimited number of attempts on all those questions. So it should really help your grade out in the long run. That way, even if you're getting stuff wrong, don't stress, just, close it, go handle life, and then come back to it later and try it again. There's no reason that anyone should be getting, honestly, less than 100% on this stuff, because as long as you're doing it by the due date, you have an unlimited number of attempts, you can get 100 on all your MathLab stuff. But of course, life happens and, things get in the way, so just give it your best effort on every question. Make sure you're attempting every question. So to walk you through the problems, when you open up the first question on the homework, you'll see a screen like this, and obviously you have an equation here and it says solve the equation. So you're probably thinking, like, no one showed me how to do this, what do I do? Well, go back and watch the section video lectures. So go back to the multimedia library and search chapter 2, section 3. This one looks like the very first question in the exercises. So go to 2.3 and watch that video lecture where the author will go through and show you some examples and break down the concepts. That way you'll be prepared how to work this type of problem. So let's say we're working through the problem, and when you do work through these problems, have a notebook off to the side. You're going to have to write. You can't just do it all in your head, but you're going to have to write things down. So you try and be neat, have a notebook for your MathLab work, and just kind of scratch it all out on pencil and paper, and then when you get an answer, then you can come back and try and type in an answer. Now I'm just going to put in something random. I'm going to put in 11, and I'm going to go down here and say check my answer. And it'll give you some feedback. It'll say, sorry, that's not correct. Sometimes it gives you some really good feedback. It says, oh, I think you forgot a negative. Go back and find that negative. But notice I checked my answer, but it's still letting me do it again. I can go back and change it and say, maybe I think it's 0. Again, I'm just kind of plugging any old thing in here. Still tells you you're not correct. After that, it'll give you what's called this final check. So now I'm thinking, uh-oh, it's my final attempt here, or else I'm going to get this wrong. No. Don't worry. I'm going to show you what happens if you still get it wrong. Let's go back to 11, because we know that's wrong. And let's say, final check. Notice it'll tell you the correct answer. It'll tell you your answer. It'll tell you it's not correct. Just say, oh man, well, I'll hit OK. And notice I've already done this question before. So the best score was I got 100% for this question because I got it right before. This attempt, I got a 0 for it. It'll ask you to either save this attempt, which is the 0%. We don't want to do that. We want to save the best score, right? So let's save our best score. So even if you got it right, go back and rework it and get it wrong, you can still keep your correct score, which is really, really nice. Let's go on to another question, maybe something I haven't done yet, like this one. So this one says solve the equation. Again, very, very similar, same chapter 2, section 3. I'm just going to put in x equals 1, and look at that. I just guessed. I didn't even really solve that problem. I just typed x equals 1 and hit check answer, and I was right. Now, did I learn any math? No, not really. I was just kind of lucky. So don't do that. If that does happen and you get the question correct, make sure, even if you do hit next question like I just did, go back, understand why you got it right. Some of these questions might be multiple choice and you can guess. Some of them might be true, false. But that's not really helpful because during the midterm, you don't get multiple attempts. The midterm's not going to be all true, false. I need to see your solution, not just the answer, not just the work. Not just the answer, but the work. I need to see the work. So again, practice working these problems out and knowing why you got that answer in the end. But even if I got it right, I can still hit similar question and do it again until I figure out why I got it right and I know what I'm doing. Some other things that you'll see when you do the homework, notice on the bottom you've got some things for, hey, I want to put in a fraction or a mixed number. Just click that and it'll automatically get you set up for putting in a fraction or a mixed number, etc. You know, exponents, absolute values, square root stuff. So learning how to like manage that may be a little cumbersome at first, but the more questions that you answer and the more that you do, it'll become a little easier. And luckily in this course we don't do a whole lot of stuff notation wise. It's, you know, mostly like fractions or square roots or maybe some ordered pairs when we get to graphing. Most of that stuff is right here at the bottom for you, just all ready to go. But you can hit more, and then there's even more stuff that you can get into, and you know, don't be scared about it. But if you're looking for something like pi, we might use a pi here or there. If we talk about like the area of a circle, it's there. You just got to click on that button and find that little pi symbol. Other things are up in the top right. There's a question help. If you click on question help, this is really why you're paying the money for the software, because of all the bells and whistles. There's help me solve this, there's view an example, there's a link to the textbook, ask my instructor. I think the two things that students use the most, especially in an online course like this, when you're on your laptop doing all the work, you might not rely so much on the textbook. The section video lectures are nice to watch, but to be honest, I know some students have told me that they don't even watch them. They just use these tools more so to kind of, I guess, be self-taught. They teach themselves the material. Or maybe they've already taken this class, they're retaking it, so they don't really need it all broken down. They still have their old notes. But these always seem to get the most use from students. Help me solve this actually solves this question step by step by step for you and just kind of like guides you through the solution. And then when you're done with the help me solve this, it says, okay, here's a new question that you have to do. So it doesn't just solve it for you and give you credit. It solves it for you and gives you another question that you have to try. Whereas view an example is a little different. View an example saves your question, doesn't solve it, but it solves one very similar, guides you through that very similar problem, and then says, okay, now you do your question. And it's the same question that you had from the get-go. So again, just kind of two different styles. I guess just depends which one you want to do. But ultimately, you know, go through the homework, and you can skip problems. Like I said, you can save this attempt, you can save your best score. You can go through, I would recommend doing them in order, and I would recommend doing a little bit each day. You know, don't wait till Sunday and just try and get 100 problems done. It's going to be a little overwhelming. Do a little bit each day. Set aside some time to do some of these problems a little bit each day. And again, same thing, you know, don't worry if you get something wrong. Here I'm going to put in 0 because I know that's wrong. And I'm going to hit check answer. And I'm just going to do it until I get to the point where it says final check. And it gives me this, sorry, your answer is not correct. You can hit next question, but it'll leave it wrong. So just hit similar question, and it'll give you another question. And you can see how similar it was. The 7s here just kind of changed the 5s. Like, wow, big deal. It's very, very straightforward as far as, you know, what is being asked. All the sections are there. They're broken down by homework for 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, etc. All the due dates are there, and you have an unlimited number of attempts. So get in there, hit the ground running, you know, just have a positive attitude, start working, get as much done as you can, as early as you can, stay on top of it. It is an online class, so it might be hard to, you know, reach out to me, but I'm always answering emails, and you also have my office number on the syllabus if you want to give me a phone call. If you're ever on campus, I teach on campus Monday through Friday, you know, come stop by. You have my office hours on the syllabus. Other than that, just, you know, get registered for the MathLab, start working, and like I said, I'll be in touch as much as I can through Canvas, and you can do the same. Try and be in touch with me as much as you can. So again, if you have any questions, please let me know, and I hope you have a wonderful and productive semester.